Ren, welcome to another off season with your host Ren from University Relations. We're waiting for the alumni that will be interviewed today. Last week was track week. This week is soccer week. On Tuesday, we were supposed to have Stuart Hannah, known as the phenom of scoring inside soccer. This week, we have Marlon, who is said to be a legend. Alumni called him a legend. I don't know why he's called a legend. We're going to discover that today. Just testing for connectivity. Are you could hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly.
Oh, now you put in the headphones. You catch my eyes do it. Boy, y'all think you're slick. Yeah, bro. Hey,
I had to
always
try something
remember,
different.
this is one of the newest features on Instagram. They changed the algorithm. I love this, actually. It allows for fundraising. You can do your little titles. You can speak with people. So where are you firstly? Are you in Nassau or are you in Jamrock?
Nassau.
Nassau. So you want experience in the dust. I know you saw those dust clouds.
I heard about it, but I haven't seen it in the way that everybody else is speaking of it.
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. I got a good friend in Jamaica, Roxy. She showed me the pictures yesterday, bro. It's like you could see the sun, but literally it's like brown. It's literally like a plague or something. I don't even know. But they say it's from the Sahara Desert. It's dust from the Sahara Desert.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be passing through here this weekend and moving into the States. Yes.
Like
some people in, I think, Crooked Island.
Oh, Crooked Island.
A friend in Crooked Island said they saw it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if we'll see it here in New Providence, but
I don't want to see it.
It's passing. Some people say it's like a new filter. Like outside is like the aesthetics look like a filter in a sense, an Instagram filter. So like it give a different look to the picture.
I don't know where in that dust way. That dust come from far. I don't want that.
No, but this is the funny thing though. Somebody on I think it's a meteorologist, was saying the dust sucks the moisture from the atmosphere and it decreases the likelihood of hurricanes.
Let's move on. Today we'll be interviewing the wonderful Marlon Miller. I see Alex, aka Alex, the coach on Instagram, called you the legend. I want to understand, why does that man call you a legend, sir?
I think it's a level of respect. I think I'd say mutual respect we have for each other. Because I specifically remember the story when I was my second year. And things wasn't going too good. That's when Stevie was the coach. And as a player, you know when you have faith in the coach's eyes and when you don't. Like you do. And I remember things wasn't doing good. And after practice, Alex said to me, Alex said to me, Marlon, you'd be my starting 11 any day. And those words were just so powerful. That gave me a jolt to the point where a senior man who has been on the team for a long while could say that to a relative sophomore/freshman. It meant something to me, and the mutual respect is just
I want to understand this. I want to understand this further. So your position, you're not a scorer. What's your position in soccer?
I started off, I was recruited to play central defense. That's right in front of the keeper. Mm-hmm. But my coach had different plans for me after a while, and he moved me a bit further in the midfield. And from then on, I played defensive midfield. You don't score much, but if you ask some football Puritans, they would say that is probably the most important position in the game right now, in some sense.
And this is important. This is why I wanted to interview Stuart before you, because Stuart was known as a scorer, right? I think that semester, out of the 14 points, the championship team you guys had, Stuart scored like 9. If I wasn't, I could be corrected, but I believe it was 9 out of the 14. So with a scorer like that, I always wondered like the respect element of soccer. I'm not a soccer man. I probably could shake and bake if I had to for money, but I really wouldn't. I would never say I good at soccer. And after seeing somebody who was good at soccer, Kim Z. Sylvester, get demolished, I don't want to ever try again. So, speak to that. You were gonna say something.
You see, and Stuart would tell you, like, and people who understand the game would tell you, like, you have people who do the dirty work that they don't show up on the stat sheet, and people who don't really understand the game don't really see. Because to move the ball from the goalkeeper to the midfield to the front to give to somebody like Stuart to score. There's a lot that goes on in interim. And we act somewhat as a conduit to provide them with the opportunity to be the star. So you cannot, it's like in basketball where the guy who grabs all the rebound is never the one who will get the statues. But the guys in the locker room know the work that they have
So
to
are
the
you
game.
saying, if this was basketball, are you saying that you're the Dennis Rodman to start Michael Jordan?
Oh, by all means. By all means.
Being said.
By all means.
It's being said. We have an interview with Coach Dion Goddard, this Saturday, and I will confirm this. I need to hear of how he put together the dream team for the last dance, and I could call it your last dance because you would graduate that semester, sadly. And since then, I believe the soccer team hasn't been the same, with all due respect to every player that's there. So let's get into a little more of that season, of that signature goal, 2018 undefeated season. How was it to be a part of that team?
It was really, really good because it gives you the sense that you're a part of something greater than yourself. And you're on the cusp of making history. Because from I was a freshman, UB was somewhat, I wouldn't say the laughing stock, but everybody would say, oh, these guys are fit. They could run, man. They could run from one end of the island to the next, but they don't really do much besides that. So that was the moniker that we had in the league. And it slowly dissipated to the point where we were challenging the best of the best, to the point where we actually comprehensively won the league outright. So being there to all that transition was interesting, and the culmination in my final year was just I say the icing on the cake in a sense.
What about the champions versus champions game? I enjoyed doing the graphics for that. I think it's never been done like that, but it was the champions of both divisions going against each other. Tell me about that game.
That game, I still have a bitter taste in my mouth because of that game, because like people really underestimate the value of a coach, and Coach Dion wasn't present. And I think Tristan, if my memory serves me right, wasn't present. So we didn't have our best team and we didn't have our coach. Just seeing the coach on the sideline makes a huge difference. And he was not there, and then the sole responsibility fell on Harvey to coach and to manage. And it's too much for one person. Okay. And I felt like we were very short-handed that game, and we got beaten comprehensively.
But I would say it wasn't a game. It was for fun. It's similar to the blue versus white, right? We played that this year.
Oh no. That game was not just a game, Renberg.
Oh my goodness. Break it down. Let me understand what it meant to you. What was that game to you?
Well, it wasn't all right. You see, the team that we played, they were our arch nemesis. Nemesis.
This United, eh?
No, that was Western Warriors.
Western Warriors. Okay.
And they felt that we weren't justified as champions. So that was their way to justify that we are better than them on that given day. And we knew that coming in. So to lose the game was very, very disappointing, and in a sense, in the manner in which we lost. But so that's why I say it was more than just a game. Yes. It don't take away from the championship, because you can't really take away from that, but it's bittersweet. Yes, we are. In the way that all Jamaicans are related, me and Julio, we are cousins. True and true. I could hear you, but I can't really see you see you clearly. I could hear you, but I can't. I could hear you somewhat. I could hear you a little bit better now,
Um, the
and I could hear you okay right now.
Okay, where did it all begin? Where did Marlon, the legend in soccer, where did your passion for football start?
Like every young child growing up in Jamaica, there were a few sports that you had to play, and football was one of them. So that's where the passion came from. Family members played, friends played. It was a national pastime, and that's where the passion developed. And I played in all primary, high school, and up to the college level at UD.
And how did UB get their hands on you?
At my senior year in St. George's,
Hmm.
UB came to the Freeport Rugby Club to recruit players, and they saw myself, Denzel, who you know, Christoph Knowles, you're not familiar with him, and another fella named Michael, and all of us came together to UB. They liked all of us and they brought us over.
So you're not only a international player in that you're a proud Jamaican heritage, but you're also somebody from our recruitment efforts in the northern Bahamas.
Yes, I'm a product of that relationship.
So tell us about that transition. You're leaving from the family of islands, Grand Bahama. You're coming to Nassau. Of course, the Doms have been through their transformations for years, and you would leave as one of the RAs. But tell us about your time coming in, transitioning from Freeport to Nassau.
The I've never been to Nassau in the way before I left because I came in on the flight from Jamaica, but I stayed for like a few hours, so I've never really stayed in Nassau for an extended period of time
Hmm.
before my transition. So I didn't know what to expect. Like most people, you hear the horror stories from from everybody else who lived in Nassau, and but those stories didn't really cloud my judgment or my perception in any way. I came with an open mind and a willingness to enjoy it, and I think I made the transition smoothly in a sense to where the convenience of living in the dorms, you don't have to worry about much insofar as everything is within walking distance.
Okay.
So it limits the quote unquote transition to where you don't need to necessarily learn bus routes. You don't necessarily need to find a ride to go here, there, and everywhere. Like the basic
Hmm.
amenities are within a few miles radius,
Don't
which
don't
which
give me the
was
full picture yet. I want to slow you down. Give me week one, landing off the plane, getting settled into the dorms. Can you remember that?
all right. Week one, I was picked up. Well, day one. Let's start there
Day
first.
one,
Day
day
one,
one. Okay.
I was picked up by Miss Rule at the airport.
She personally picked you up.
Yes, personally, she,
Wow.
she she picked me up, and I
Wow.
met and I met Stevie. That's Stevie Bella, the coach at the time, at the airport,
Hmm.
and we talk. And I remember I was driving in the car, and she got a phone call, and she was talking to somebody in the radio. I don't know who the person was, and I said a few words on the radio as a new athlete and so on and so forth. And she brought me to McDonald's, same McDonald's across on campus,
Wow.
and it was
Miss
from Miss.
Royal, on record, Miss Royal. The man just land Nassau. You carry into McDonald's.
Yeah,
Boy,
that was my first spot.
I always was wondering how she's recruit, how she's keep you out. You carry them, but in 2 minutes of them being in Nassau, McDonald's. I get it. Continue though.
So from McDonald's, she dropped me off to the dorms, and I could vividly remember pulling up and looking at the gate and just looking at the whole aesthetics, and I'm like, okay, all right,
This
I've
is the
arrived.
residential campus, like the one with the
Yes,
sign and the gates. Oh, you wasn't in the
yes,
dorms. You wasn't back in the day in the dorms. Boy.
yes, the residential campus. And that's when I met Miss Pratt. I didn't come prepared. I would say we got the worst apartment on the dorms. Worse in so far as that apartment was the one that people use. That's the apartment that people used to walk. It was a highway for the rec room, for recreation room.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Just remember, you're an alumni. We're gonna speak good about the institution, but just to clear
Yes,
it up.
yes,
So,
yes. Like
so
it was the highway for the recreation room. So people would
this the
come
one
in and
right
out,
across,
and we
like
would get to know
where the
everybody.
rack doors is. Those ones right there with the wash machines.
No, 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 no. You know where the office is?
Yeah, I know where the office is.
All right, the apartment next to the left of the office.
And something wrong with that? That they ain't the best ones? No, I mean the RA ones is the best ones. I ain't gonna lie.
Like everybody used to come in that apartment. So it was a double job to keep it clean.
Oh,
And and if you don't leave the front door, if you left the front door open, people just walk through your apartment to head to the recreation room
and how
instead
was
of
that? How
walking.
was that coming from Grand Bahama? How was that experience?
It was annoying, and you can't really control it because everybody needs to have a consensus to keep the door closed, and you can't control what three other people in the apartment does. So that's why I say that apartment was purely because of positioning was probably the worst one we could have gotten. And
Mm.
yeah,
So now continue on the journey. Tell us about now how it got better in the dorm life.
well, it got better when I remember getting moving to a different apartment, where that's when I moved in with Justin Smith. Justin Smith was my roommate for a year, I think. Yeah, and that apartment it didn't have the traffic that the other apartment had, and there was a certain level of privacy, and that apartment was good. At the time, Justin wasn't on the basketball team. I mean, the soccer team as yet, but everything about that apartment was A1 in as best as it could have been.
It's pretty deep. It's pretty neat. So we touch on the dorms a little bit,
No,
and of
Justin
course,
started to play like
no, continue on, Justin.
Justin started to play soccer. I think in my second year, like, or so. So he didn't come to play two sports. So let's say it like that. He didn't come to play. I
Mm.
can't remember how he actually decided to play, but I remember he came to practice and Stevie really liked him because of Justin's athleticism. When you compare Justin's athleticism to the average soccer player's athleticism, they don't really, we pale in comparison. So Stevie loved Justin's athleticism and work ethic. And Justin used to play in Grand Bahama with us. So I knew
Okay.
Justin before I came to the dorms as a soccer player. I didn't even know he could play basketball, to be honest.
Sound like I gotta get last hope on the next interview soon. Uh, but let's. So how did just finishing up with the residential campus? How did you go from what would be called not the best dorm to now being an RA? When did that responsibility come upon you?
Well, I wouldn't say the responsibility came upon me. I requested the responsibility because
Okay.
it's a position you have to apply for. And I said to myself, okay, it would be a good opportunity to grow as a leader, and
Mm.
then it comes with some perks also. So the leadership ability and the perks, I decided to, okay, it seems good. So I decided to apply, went through the interview process, did really well in the interview, and I was selected for the vacancy that came available the following semester.
Boy, with experience like this, we need this new. the new residential campus with 1,000 people coming. I think this experience would be good for the university, man. I hope they open up some positions and you could come back and join us to really teach them the history of the dorms and how much they need to enjoy that hotel. I call it a hotel, boy. It's a hotel,
it,
man.
it has hotel style feel. I know the rooms are set up, so it's not set up like a traditional dormitory in a sense.
Right, right. So we touch on the dorms. You touch on your foundations of how you transitioned from Freeport. But of course, this is commencement week, and I want to definitely ask questions about graduation and life afterward. So firstly, you've graduated, but this generation, the 2020 generation, of course, are conflicted. They have the COVID-19 pandemic. They have the changing of classrooms to online teaching. And finally, we're having our first virtual commencement at the University of the Bahamas next week, Monday. Um, with all that being said, do you think your experience of graduation would have been the same had you had to go through what they're about to go through?
It could not have been the same. This is my opinion. I think most people will agree or share my sentiments, because the ability to walk across the stage
Mm-hmm.
in the stadium in full view of all the people who view it online and people who are in the lives streaming and so on and so forth. It's something you cannot replicate in a virtual graduation. It's just impossible. Everything that you have in a live graduation, it's impossible to replicate in the virtual graduation. Oh, this Wi-Fi is not good. I heard you asked me about my graduation experience and how was it for me. Was that the entirety of the question? Yes, I heard you mention about asking me about my graduation experience. Uh, okay. Like I was a first generation college student, and that in and of itself is something that is a new experience being the first, because nobody in my family, my immediate family definitely, has ever graduated or even entered college in that way. So to be the first is always a unique feeling in and of itself. And yeah, I was able to share the moment with family, friends, and well wishers, which makes it all in itself worth it.
It also was said that you all
So
had the best
that was my
graduation party that
experience.
year. Do you remember that?
I don't know if I remember much about that. About that, I don't know how much I remember about that.
Good answer. Good answer.
Yeah, some things are better not said. Some things are better not said.
That's good, man. But what about it? Like, okay, let's go into life afterward. You get of course, you graduated with a BA in psychology. How has life been? And I know the last thing you told me was, I am going back to Jamaica to become an defense force officer, then one day become prime minister. And I was like, well, looky here,
I
from kicking a soccer ball to this. Update me. What has happened since graduation?
It has been an interesting ride to say the least. Quite interesting.
Okay.
And why I say interesting is I graduated in, let me see, I graduated in May,
Mm-hmm.
and I left in January of the following year, 2019.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I left with the same intentions I spoke to you of, but dreams and reality sometimes don't always overlap.
Ah,
They don't always overlap.
this is
And
important. Any graduates who listen to this is important.
yes, dreams and reality don't always overlap. And when I went home, the circumstances, it I didn't expect those circumstances to present themselves the way they did. I I was totally caught off guard. And in in that time frame when I analyze things and I look at things, I said I was at a crossroad where it's either you defer the dream or you just kill it altogether. But thing but you cannot, I wouldn't say chase something, but you have to realize when you're at a crossroads and where to go. And so I took the decision to come back here.
Okay.
So it was that side of thing. I was at a crossroads and I was like, should I defer or should I give up altogether? I don't know what the future holds, so I would say a dream deferred at this point.
All right.
Yes, I'll get poetic and say a dream deferred.
And what about here? Now that you're back to your, I would call it second home or first, depending on how you describe it. How have things been after graduation? Are you looking to maybe apply to the new master's degree program? What's going on for Marlon?
Like I've been doing some work with the National Reparations Committee because that is a, a thing that is close to my heart. Like
Hmm.
I love activism and black empowerment, black liberation. That's my cup of tea.
Okay.
Anybody who knows me knows that type of stuff. So I've been doing some work with them since I came back,
Hmm.
and I'm preparing myself to get back in academia.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. And in my time away from academia, my values never changed, but my career outlook changed. I don't see myself pursuing a psychology no more at this point. I think I could safely say I don't see myself pursuing it at the master's level.
Hey, you don't have to say no more, bro. You're looking at one. Remember, I got a psychology
Yes,
degree too. I draw
yes,
in every day. I do marketing and consultancy. It helps. Like, if I
oh,
may,
definitely does.
it
It,
the element of this generation, because of technology, you need to learn people skills now, and a lot of people don't have it. So even in my dumbest moments where I kind of do something that people be like, why would you do that? I'm still very cognizant of, in Ava Thompson's words, right? Dr. Ava Thompson, of the zeitgeist of the times.
yes,
You gotta be cognizant of the zeitgeist of the times. Shout out to Dr. Thompson. She used to park me with pennies. Dr. Hutchison too. He used to sleep in both of their classes.
I learned the zeitgeist in Dr. Hutchison class.
Oh, wow. They switch it up.
Yes,
If they
yes,
tag team
yeah,
you, they say, okay, they used to ever seeing it, give it to Hutchison. All right,
yeah.
cool.
No,
But that's
but
cool,
yeah,
bro.
I've I've realigned my dreams insofar as let's say a career goes,
Hmm.
and currently things is always subjected to change.
Hmm.
So what I'm saying to you today, you might see me a few years from now and I tell you, oh, I have a master's in psychology, and you're like, Marlon, you told me, like, but
My job is only to remind you, bro. I know things change every day.
yes, and that's the thing. If you don't change in this life, you're not going anywhere. You're not really growing.
Hey, let's keep it even
So
more simple. When I meet you, you got here. Now you meeting me, I got here. Bam. Okay?
yes,
Life changes, bro. Life changes. So what we could do, because we could switch to the question and answer period after one more question, which is with people going into this new world, we're calling after COVID-19 the new norm. What advice from your new experiences would you give? Let's say about three pieces, if you could. Would you give any graduate on this movement up to commencement day? What advice would you give graduates?
two, some of them are cliches, but you know when you used to hear cliches, but when you live the cliche, the lived experience is more important than just hearing a cliche. And I'll say having a solid network is really important. In life, a lot of times, what you know keeps you, but who you know gets you in the door, and what you know keeps you there. So I would say all the people who you build relationships with, try to sustain them as best as possible, because you never know when you could capitalize on those relationships in the future. That's one thing I'll say. Another thing is, and I said this to a few friends, like, embrace the unknown. Literally embrace the unknown. We will never be able to predict the future. So all we could do is embrace it with what comes, but nonetheless be prepared for whatever comes. And finally, I will say, be prepared to be disappointed and know how to bounce back from any form of disappointment and any low point that you will have moving forward. Because college is comfortable, you know, right?
Wow, where that come from? Like,
Like,
what
all
taught you
right,
that much?
this is, all right, let me tell you what I mean. Let me tell you what I mean. When you're in school, if you do everything that you're supposed to do, it must work out. And this is what I mean. If you go to classes on time, turn your work in on time, you study, you must pass. Like,
You
it's
ought
it's
to. You
one,
ought
two,
to
three.
pass. You ought to pass. Ought
And I
to.
guess I exaggerate, but you ought to pass.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, real life don't work like that.
No, I agree.
It doesn't. So you could have the best resume, you could send your stuff in, you could have the best interview, but still don't get a job.
That is true.
And you could leave questioning yourself and questioning your skills and questioning what you're made of and so on and so forth. So that's why I'd say be prepared to be disappointed. Not, I wouldn't say be prepared to be pessimistic. No, but no, they will come, because
I
life is not 1, 2, 3 as you know, colleges, where school is, I mean, where if you do the things that you need to do, you could guarantee success to a certain degree.
okay.
But real life is not necessarily like that.
That's understood. I'm curious. How has soccer helped prepare you for a global society? Has the early morning trainings, the the experience of being a student athlete, do you think that prepared you for the real world?
All right. Yes, and this is a continuation of the previous point that I made. When you play sports, you have to know how to lose. Like, you really have to know, because on any given day, you will come up with somebody who's just better than you.
Okay.
Or on any given day, you might not be on your best peak of form, and somebody else just knock you over and you lose. However, you need to know how to bounce back. And that is one of the things that playing sports teach me. The ability
Okay.
to go back to the drawing board, bounce back and say, hey, beat me today, I take my losses, but you'll see me back tomorrow with the same vigor, the same earnest, and the same lust to achieve what I set out to achieve the previous day.
It's
That
fair.
is that's one thing I'd say it taught me. And then it also, the ability to respect other people's time, be accountable, and be a genuine team player is something that all the sports that I've engaged in taught me. Like, you need to be a good team player. If you're on a team and your job is X, you need to do X, because everybody else is operating on the assumption that you will deliver X. And if you don't, then it's a problem. So that is the other thing that I really, really learned from playing sports.
Okay, I want to tap into, and ladies and gentlemen, we're now entering the Q&A portion, the question and answer. Marlon, what I'll do is I'll close this just so we can save this half, and then we'll start with the question and answer from the audience, okay?
Okay.